for me, it's the first time I come to Algeria. I was in Tunis or in part of Morocco, but never here. I mean, my impression, even if I have come here, I thought it was Tuesday. We've been most of the time in the hotel, yes, watching films and doing things. I don't have a clear idea what the city of Annaba or what that means. But for me it's interesting for the moment just to see all the different aspects of the people, how they react to things. I'm curious, yes, of how they are. And about the festival, well, interesting also, I would say it in a certain way. There's other ways of making things here. The timing is something different. The idea of time is very different than it will be in my own country, you know, in terms of the programs, things, how they go. They are less stiff, I will say it. But what is interesting is I met very interesting people here, you know, that for me is the more important, yes, to get close to people that otherwise you wouldn't have the opportunity to talk to them or meet them.
Gathering many cultures.
And many cultures. I love diversity. I think diversity brings great things to people, you know. It's interesting to see how the others are and how they look at the world, different from how we do it ourselves. I mean, what I think, production designer or the set, the decors, I believe when you do a good job, you don't see it. It's there, but you don't see it. I think my job is to bring the spaces and to help the directors to tell the story that they want to tell, but it's not a show enough of the decor. The decors are just to tell the stories. It's not like interior design that you are looking for really nice, beautiful things. I don't think that's nothing to do with my job. My job is to tell a story, is to create an ambience, is to communicate through spaces, through structures, through colors, through elements, through props. So I believe that's my duty, yes, to be there and it's just a tool, a narrative tool. I can tell things with the set that I built or that I do the decoration, but it's not a show enough. I had a really good mentor when I was studying. I studied production designer in Los Angeles in AFI, American Film Institute, and I have a great mentor that was my teacher, that he was an old man. His name is Robert Boyle. It was incredible. He had worked with Hitchcock, with everybody. And he always said, we are here just to help the directors to tell the story that they want to tell. You don't have to be, it's not saying, wow, how beautiful is this or that. No, it's a narrative tool. It's how I see it. Yeah, I worked with him twice. The first thing I did with it was the Bad Education. I mean, I knew his film, you know, in Spain, elsewhere, you know, Almodóvar. And he has a very particular way of making movies. For me, what is important about Almodóvar, when you see a film that he has made, you know, belongs to him. He has a special signature. I mean, the colors, what he talk about it, and also I think that's very hard to do it. Yes, to have a personal signature. I don't know if we say signature in English. And he's very, I mean, you have to bring him many options. He loved to decide and he loved to look at things, but he's somebody who needs or who like to have many options to decide it. And also he's very aware of what is going on in terms of decoration or in terms of furniture builders. He's so much, he knows so much the market of how things are going on. So he has so many references also. At the end, he's the one who decided. I mean, you bring it, you show it, you convince him.
And he chooses.
And he chooses more or less. And also, I mean, when you see his movies, there are always certain colors that are predominant, you know, the red, the green, the primary colors. And he's somebody who, he's maximalist, not minimalist. I think with the years, he has become more depurated. He is taking stuff off, but he like many objects. And also one thing that is interesting with him, the furniture, the object, the props, he don't believe in things that are age, you know. They are really new and nice. It's an interesting way of doing it, because sometimes you're making movies where everything has to be aged or has to have a level of, you know, that is not totally new. No, he likes things that they are really proper and nicely. I mean, he has a very special way of doing things, you know. Well, Guillermo del Toro is very different. He's Mexican, but that's not because he's Mexican. He's a funny guy, and he's a very generous guy in terms. He sees talent. I think he's a person who can see talent, and he like to help people that have talent. When I was doing the Pan's Labyrinth, there was a guy, a very young guy, who was doing the conceptual art and some drawings. Probably it was his first job in movies, but Guillermo saw him and he knew he would be the person to hire. It's interesting. I mean, he produced new directors. He's somebody that I like that idea of him, you know, he give. And when I was working with him, what is interesting, he's somebody who has also an incredible imaginary on his head. He has incredible work. And he made you part of that. We talk of everything. In Pan's Labyrinth, what it was very nice is everything was drawn. All the props, everything. We have the time to make drawings of everything. And and found the way of how to talk about these two levels that they were in the film, the real world and the magical world of the girl. So, I mean, we talk a lot about that. We talk, it was two different sides of the same coin, we can say. And for me, perhaps the more difficult part was how to put together the real with the magical. But we have several rules, we can say it, For example, if you see the part where the girls live, the houses or the water mill, everything is, all the constructions are very straightforward. There is nothing is round. Everything is very hard from the point of view of a little girl. the colors on the real world, everything is dark, grayish, bluish, green. It's raining all the time. It's very uneasy place for a girl to be. They were not red at all on that wall, only the red that it comes from blood. And the magical world, it was the contrary. It was, yes, everything was round. All the constructions were completely different. It was goldish, reddish. And the funny thing is, she goes to the magical world to understand the real world. Because people think, but the idea of where she goes with all these monsters is just to understand a little bit the real world where she lives. I don't know if my English is not too good, I don't know. It's a historic part, and also it has happened, and we're talking about the Che, that most of the people know the story. I mean, the part is, it's another different way of working. You have to research, to read, to look for all pictures, to read about the Che, to read about the story, to read about the Cuban Revolution. But at the end, it's more or less the same job, because even if it's Almodóvar or even if it's Guillermo del Toro, there is always a research. Where you look for that are different, you know, but there is always a research. And for Soderbergh, the movie was, he wanted to shoot it almost like a documentary. It was all hand camera, how you say it? Steady camera. And grainy, a lot of grain in the pictures. And everything has to be kind of, it was interesting about the reality. We were in the forest most of the time. It was a very physical shooting, filming. But it was easy to work with him. I mean, it was interesting, his point of view. It was physical. I remember going mountain up and down, following him with the camera because he was running everywhere. But I think at the end, most of the work is kind of similar in a certain way. I mean, the subjects are different, but the way of working is very similar, at least for me. You need information, you need to sit up and talk to the director, to talk to the DOP, to talk to the person who is going to do the costume, and just to try to make all together a unique film that we talk, all of us, the same language. But it's more or less the same. That's what I think. Jarmus, he's a really artist person. He's a really artist. So the movie that we made, it was The Limits of Control. When I was waiting for the script. The script was 5 pages, nothing else. So it was, at the beginning, strange, you know. It was a movie that it was being made at the same time that it was being filming. But he's a great director. Especially because for me, he's really an artist. What he talks is about, has a special vision of the world. He has a lot of care also of the aesthetic in a very different way, but everything is very well thought. You know, the matches that they were in the table, every little props that we put. He's very artistic orientated. But it's nice to work with him because he's also very humble and he gives you all the information. And it's just to go in a journey with somebody. You have to trust him because I said the script was 5 pages. So it's like going in a trip with somebody, but I really trust him. I really love his films. I really love what he does, how he does, and how he talks about people, subject, feelings. So it was very interesting. It was a strange film, The Limits of Control. It was a strange film. I think of the film that he has made, probably is very different from the other ones. We shot in different places, but I'm saying it was a movie that it was being made at the same time that it was being shooting. And the DOP that it was Boyle, his name, the last name is Boyle, is the DOP of Wong Kar-wai.
Doyle.
Doyle. It was very interesting to see how he worked. That was, everything was interesting because it was kind of an experimental thing for me in a certain way. Because he was very free. I'm saying it was 5 pages of a script. So you have to trust the person to follow and do it that. But I enjoy it very much to work with him. I mean, yeah, cinema now what we see the cinema really is a little painful because everything is orientated to commercial movies, TV series, and you see remakes of remakes of the remakes of the remakes. There is little space for new things, for experimental things, and for people to take risks. And I think the people that we love cinema will have to keep that legacy and try to fight for having a great cinema, because otherwise it's gonna disappear. But also because there are new ways of consumption of cinema, you know, with the platforms, with the TV, telephone. But I believe we have to re-educate the younger audience just to learn how to watch. It's just to reorientate it how to watch, because really sometimes the panorama is a little scary. But always there is movies that they come out and I don't think this is gonna be the end of cinema, I hope. There is always people trying to tell things in a certain way. This is an art, I mean, it's culture, it's, I don't know. So there will be commercial things, but it's always independent films. And also, it's true that now you can make a movie with much less equipment. I mean, it's just, there's people that they make movies with a cell phone. So I think the more important is to have something to say and look for the way of saying it and taking risk and not taking for granted the audience that they're stupid. We have to really re-educate it, and people have to go and have their heads put it a little bit on, you know, because it's like food. We have to eat good. I mean, junk food is not good for us. That's what I think.